Hey guys, I was recently sent this really cool bilateral laser by Inkerma. Full disclosure, they did send me this product. There's a lot of cool ways you can use this, especially if you're a real estate investor, contractor, or a realtor. It's actually a pretty useful tool, so let's get into it. This thing does a lot. There are a lot of things that you may not use every day. There's probably like 3 or 4 functions that I'm going to use pretty regularly. And then it does a lot of other things that you might not need most of the time. But because of that, I would recommend keeping your manual. I'm standing in the middle of a living room in a property. And so if I wanted to take a measurement of this space, to turn the unit on, I'm just gonna push this on button, just a quick short press. And some of their options, they talk about using a long press or a short press on the button. I'm gonna turn it this way so you can see it. So if you wanna reorient since you're mostly gonna be holding it this direction, if you wanna reorient the direction of your screen, this is the button that does that. And so, for instance, let's turn it so it is upright for you guys, because I'm looking at this upside down, so bear with me. So we have reoriented our screen, which is an option. Now, another thing you can change is your unit of measurement. When I first bought this was on meters. Now, I usually am not gonna use meters as my unit of measurement. I'm probably gonna use feet or the feet and inches option. So right now it has where it's gonna measure feet and inches, or if you hold this button down, then it goes to meters. If you hold it down again, inches, hold it down again, feet, hold it down again, feet and inches. And so you can change the unit of measurement amongst those options. That's kind of a long press until it measures. Now, if I want to get in the middle of a room and I am in the bilateral function, I guess I'll show you how to change the functions first. So if you want to change, you don't want to do a bilateral measure, which means you're measuring this way and this way, you can go through, this opens up your functions, and this plus and minus button, you're gonna go through, I guess I went backwards. So it can give you the unilateral measurement, you can do area, you can do volume, you can do the Pythagorean theorem, you can do angles. So some of these down here are the things that I probably won't use a lot, that you're gonna wanna keep your manual in case you ever wanna use those functions. But for me, I'm actually just gonna go back up to this bilateral measurement because I think that is the coolest thing about this laser. So I'm gonna get out of here. I guess to select it, maybe I'm gonna hit that. Okay, so it takes me back to my main menu. So I still had to select the option that I wanted to be at. So here's the cool thing, guys. More and more in our world, we have people that are moving and relocating. And if you're flipping houses, if you're renovating houses, if you're a real estate investor, if you're a realtor, you have people that might say, well, it's kind of hard to see in the space how big the living room is. Sometimes wide angle lenses make photos look bigger. How big is the living room? So literally I can bring this measurer over here. I can just keep this in my car and I can charge it in my USB port in my car. And I can come over here and I can take this and I can stand in the middle of the living room and I can have my bilateral function. And all I have to do is hit the measure button. And it locks it in. I'll show you and then I'll show you in real time. So from where I was standing, that direction was 8 feet 7 inches. That direction was 11 feet. And so the whole space is 19 feet 7 inches and 9/16 of an inch. So it's getting you down to a 1/16 of an inch, but here's the cool thing. Then I can say, okay, does your couch fit? We don't have to worry about is your furniture gonna fit? And then I can go the other direction. I'm gonna turn around and I'll show you close-ups. Now it kind of shows you right here how level you are or not when you're holding it. So keep in mind, like if you're really crooked, you're not gonna get an exact measurement. If you can get it as close to level, it's hard to hold it, but you could sit it on something too. See it 0, 0, 0, you're gonna get the best level measurement. But okay, so say I wanna measure now my width. And I look and I have my lasers on both sides. Okay, so now I know this room wide is 14 feet 3 inches and 7/8 of an inch. Now where this I think is really handy is you also can do ceiling height. So if for some reason, and I would say maybe in a garage or a different type of property, the ceiling height matters. This really is the coolest thing because I can do it from up here or I can do it from all the way down there. But if I had to measure this with a tape measure, I'd have to find a way to get a sturdy enough tape measure. And you know how when you try to extend them, they bend and they fall down. So I'd have to be able to get it from all the way up there to all the way down here, or from all the way down there to all the way up here. So right now, all I have to do is take this, go to my measure function, line it up, my laser's on the ceiling. Cool. 18 feet and 5/8 of an inch. when you want to measure something really tall that you might not have access to, this tool is going to be a game changer. The other thing is you don't need access all the way up there. You literally could stand down here and do the same thing. So you go to measure, you got your laser, I have my measurement again. So when it's something that's really out of reach, this is gonna be super helpful for you. One of the other functions that I am most excited about is there is a real-time measuring mode. So what I've done so far is I've held it in place, I've measured, I've locked in the measurement. You can make it actively measure as you move along to try to find like the center point of a space or a wall, or if you were trying to find maybe a certain height when you're measuring up and down to measure curtains, you wanna be a couple inches down, whatever. You have an active measuring mode. So what you're going to do is you're gonna go to your functions, which is this button right here, and you're going to arrow over, oh, I went the wrong way again. Okay, I wanna go to that second one, and I'm going to select that. And so then I have a real-time measuring mode. So if I hit measure, see how it's changing? Isn't that cool as I go up and down? Going through your options, here is another cool option that you have is you can do area or you can do volume and it will do the math for you if you would wish not to do it yourself. So for instance, say you are just like, hey, I'm gonna get some new hardwood floors or laminate for this floor and I wanna know approximately how much I need. You would go to this for area and we can measure the square footage of the floor. So we're going to select that option and it's gonna have my top measurement, my bottom measurement, it's gonna do the math for me. So if I go like that, and I'm trying to get as straight as possible and I get that measurement. Okay, so it's 9 feet, 5 inches and 7/16 wide. And then I go, I'm gonna come out of the view a little bit because there's a mirror right there and I obviously don't wanna put the laser on the mirror. So then it did my second measurement. So this room is 9 feet, 5 inches and 7/16 wide by 13 feet and 5/16 long. And so the square footage of this room, that just measured this whole room for me for flooring. So this is an awesome option for flooring. Now, I don't know when you would use the option for volume. Maybe that would be more for like an engineer. It's not something that I would use, but you do have the option to measure volume too. I'm gonna change my option. And so say I wanna go to, geez, every time, sorry. So say I wanna measure the volume of the room, I'm gonna select the cube, and so I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. I'm gonna line it up, get it as close to straight as I can. I'm gonna get that way. Okay, I'm gonna get my next measurement. So I have my 2 measurements, see? And then I'm gonna get my third measurement. Then it does the math for you. So you have wall to wall, ceiling to floor, wall to wall, there's your volume of the room. So I don't know if that's something, if you know a place where you would use the volume measurement, leave maybe for pools, but I don't think you'd have a top unless you put a board up to get the top measurement. So if you can think of a way where you would use the volume and this would be helpful, please comment below because I'm super curious. I just can't think of a place where I would use volume, but the square footage and the quick math for you, that is super nice that it has that function. So that's really cool. All right, guys, all in all, I think this Inkerma bilateral laser measure is a super cool tool. Is it gonna replace your tape measure? No, they each have their purpose. One thing I will say is I think we live in a world of a very short attention span and people have a hard time reading instructions. You are gonna need to look at your instruction manual, or Inkerma has sent a lot of these to tool reviewers and DIYers and contractors to give little snippets on how they use them and what worked for them. So if you don't wanna read the packet, go on YouTube and just search this thing because there are tons of different ways that different people are using this. My favorite functions are for area, for measuring, for replacing flooring, and also for a really tall or wide area that it's gonna be hard to span with your tape measure. So I think it's a useful tool, but do be prepared to look at your manual and do a little bit of research. There are so many things that this does that I don't have a use for that you might. So definitely go check out some of the other videos because somebody smarter than me might be using it in more ways than the way I'm using it. So hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions on this tool. I do want to remind you, they did send this to me. They didn't pay me for this, but they sent me the product for free. So I just want to be fully transparent there. I am going to put an Amazon link to the product. If you would like to go purchase it, it will be an affiliate link. If you want to go check it out, the bilateral laser is a super cool tool, especially if you measure a lot of houses or a lot of lengths and heights and properties. So that's it. See you guys later. Have a beautiful day. Bye.